The United States Penitentiary Administrative Maximum Facility, known as ADX Florence, operates on the assumption that control must never fail. Every design choice, every procedure, and every layer of oversight exists to prevent loss of authority inside a population considered the most dangerous in federal custody. Within that framework is a rarely discussed emergency response known internally as the Blackout Protocol. It is not a symbolic term. It describes a real operational state in which the prison deliberately withdraws nearly all movement, communication, and routine function to contain a perceived threat. The protocol exists because ADX Florence is not a conventional prison. It houses individuals classified as extreme security risks. Many are sentenced under federal statutes tied to terrorism, organized crime leadership, large-scale violence, or repeated acts of institutional disruption. The prison's mission is containment. Rehabilitation programs are limited. Contact is minimal. Predictability is tightly controlled. When administrators believe that even this system may be challenged, the response is immediate and absolute. If stories like this matter to you, consider subscribing, because understanding how this system operates requires attention to moments when it shuts itself off. Activation of the Blackout Protocol begins at the command level. Intelligence triggers vary. They include credible information about coordinated inmate action, threats against staff, escape indicators, internal security breaches, or alerts tied to national security concerns. ADX does not disclose specific incidents publicly. Decisions are made using classified intelligence, institutional reporting, and federal coordination. Once the order is given, it overrides routine scheduling across the facility. Movement ceases. All inmates remain inside their assigned cells. Doors are electronically sealed and controlled remotely. Housing units stop internal circulation entirely. No inmate leaves a cell unless the situation meets emergency criteria approved by command staff. The goal is to freeze the environment. Motion is treated as risk. ADX Florence already confines most inmates alone for approximately 23 hours per day. During a blackout, even the limited structure of that confinement is altered. Recreation periods stop. Program access ends. Scheduled showers are suspended or delayed. Normal time cues disappear. The environment becomes static. Meals do not follow standard routines. Food may be delivered at irregular intervals through secure ports and cell doors. In some cases, delivery is delayed until staff movement can be safely coordinated. There is no dining hall. There is no interaction. Every delivery is logged. Every movement is observed. Communication inside the prison narrows sharply. Certain radio channels are restricted. Non-essential transmissions stop. Officers rely on pre-established emergency communication protocols. Silence is intentional. Information flow is controlled to prevent coordination, misinformation, or exploitation. The prison becomes quieter, not calmer. Surveillance intensifies. Cameras remain active at all times. Control rooms monitor multiple units simultaneously. Electronic systems track door status, sensor input, and movement attempts. During a blackout, these systems are not passive. They are the primary interface between staff and the facility. Armed response teams remain on standby. These units are trained for rapid deployment within the prison. They are not visible to inmates unless movement is authorized. Their presence is a deterrent and a contingency. The assumption is not that violence is occurring, but that it could occur without warning. For inmates, the experience is disorienting by design. There is no announcement explaining the reason for the lockdown. There is no timeline provided. There is no confirmation that the protocol is active. From inside a cell, the change is sensed through absence. Doors do not open. Sounds disappear. Routine cues vanish. Lighting remains constant. Cells at ADX are designed to prevent manipulation of light and shadow. During a blackout, this contributes to temporal distortion. Without movement or variation, the passage of time becomes unclear. Days and nights blur. This is not an accidental effect. The architecture supports it. Legal calls are suspended except in cases deemed urgent. Mail processing pauses. External contact stops. The facility effectively disconnects from the outside world. Even within the federal prison system, information about ongoing blackout periods is limited. The institution seals itself. Medical access is restricted but not eliminated. Emergencies are addressed under controlled conditions. Movement requires armed escort and command authorization. Routine appointments do not occur. The priority is containment, not continuity. Former staff members have described the Blackout Protocol as one of the most demanding operational states at ADX. Officers work extended shifts. Fatigue becomes a factor. The absence of routine increases cognitive load. Every action requires deliberate approval. Mistakes carry high consequence. Training prepares staff for this environment. ADX officers are selected and trained for high-security operations. They are accustomed to isolation and limited feedback. During a blackout, these conditions intensify. The psychological strain is not dramatic, but sustained. Vigilance replaces interaction. ADX Florence was designed with this scenario in mind. The prison's physical structure supports total lockdown. Thick concrete walls isolate sound between cells. Sight lines are limited to prevent visual communication. Electronic controls centralize authority. Human discretion is minimized through automation. This design reflects the prison's philosophy. ADX does not rely on negotiation during crisis. It relies on denial of opportunity. By removing movement and contact, administrators reduce the ability to organize, react, or exploit uncertainty. The system does not escalate. It constricts. There is no publicly defined maximum duration for a blackout protocol. It lasts as long as command staff determine that the triggering condition remains unresolved. This may involve internal investigation, intelligence verification, or coordination with federal agencies. Inmates are not informed of progress or outcome. When the protocol ends, normal operations resume gradually. Movement returns in phases. Routines are restored incrementally. There is no announcement marking the conclusion. The transition is subtle. From the inmate perspective, doors open again. Schedules return. Silence breaks. ADX does not release statistics on blackout activations. The rarity of the protocol is intentional. It is not a disciplinary tool. It is not used for routine disturbances. Its existence underscores the prison's role within the federal system. ADX is a contingency institution. Civil rights organizations have raised concerns about the psychological effects of prolonged isolation, particularly during emergency lockdowns. Research on solitary confinement has documented risks associated with sensory deprivation and lack of social contact. Federal authorities acknowledge these concerns while maintaining that ADX's procedures are necessary for safety. Courts have generally deferred to prison administrators regarding internal security at ADX Florence. Legal challenges have focused on conditions of confinement rather than specific emergency protocols. Judicial rulings emphasize the unique population housed at the facility and the government's interest in preventing harm. The Blackout Protocol illustrates how control is prioritized over transparency. The system does not explain itself. It does not reassure. It functions. The absence of information is part of the mechanism. Predictability is removed to maintain dominance over the environment. From the outside, ADX Florence appears static. From the inside, it is dynamic in its restraint. The blackout state reveals the prison's core logic. When risk increases, complexity decreases. Interaction is eliminated. Authority consolidates. This approach reflects broader trends in high-security corrections. Emergency management favors containment over engagement. Technology replaces discretion. Silence replaces negotiation. ADX represents the most concentrated expression of this model. The protocol also affects staff morale. Officers operate without feedback from inmates. There are no verbal exchanges. No routine confirmations. The work becomes procedural. Stress accumulates quietly. The institution absorbs it. There are no public accounts of inmates receiving formal notice about blackout activations. Information asymmetry is deliberate. Knowledge is power within prison environments. During a blackout, knowledge is withheld. ADX Florence functions as a sealed system during crisis. External oversight is limited. Media access is non-existent. The facility answers internally to the Bureau of Prisons and, in some cases, to federal security agencies. Transparency is secondary to control. The Blackout Protocol is not an anomaly. It is a feature. It represents the endpoint of a philosophy that prioritizes order above all else. In this environment, emergency does not trigger chaos. It triggers stillness. The prison does not rely on human interaction to resolve crisis. It relies on architecture, procedure, and technology. The human element is minimized. Decisions are centralized. Actions are constrained. This is the reality of ADX Florence during a blackout. A prison that turns inward. A system that removes movement to preserve authority. A facility designed to operate without explanation. If you think this story was intense, the next one will leave you speechless. Subscribe for more true crime stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.